The person with the most power in a room is not always the loudest, not always the wealthiest, not always the most articulate. It is the person who controls their emotions best. Let me say that again because most of you won't believe it the first time. Emotional control changes how people perceive you instantly. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to show you why emotional reactivity is the single fastest way to lose social status, how calmness rewires how people unconsciously evaluate you, and the exact psychological mechanism that makes emotionally composed people appear more powerful. Most people think power comes from dominance, aggression, loudness, status, symbols, intimidation. But here's what psychological research actually shows. Reactivity weakens perceived power. Control magnifies it. Think about the most powerful person you personally know. Not the one with the most money, the one people naturally defer to. Pause and picture them. Now ask yourself, does this person react emotionally to small provocations? Probably not. And that alone tells you something profound. I want you to think about a moment in the last week when you reacted emotionally and regretted it. Maybe you snapped at someone. Maybe you sent a message you shouldn't have. Maybe you showed frustration in a meeting. Keep that moment in your mind. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what happened psychologically, and more importantly, how to stop it from happening again. Human beings are constantly evaluating emotional stability. Not consciously. Not deliberately. Automatically. Every social interaction triggers unconscious calculations. Is this person safe? Can this person handle pressure? Is this person emotionally predictable? Your brain evolved to ask these questions because, ancestrally, emotional instability was dangerous. An emotionally unpredictable person could be a threat to the group. That ancient wiring still operates today. People notice, unconsciously, stays calm under pressure, reacts impulsively to criticism, gets emotionally shaken by rejection. And those microperceptions shape social perception faster than anything you can say. Here's the first principle. The easier someone can control your emotions, the less power you appear to have. This is not philosophy. This is social psychology. If a small comment triggers anger in you, if mild criticism creates visible panic, if rejection destroys your emotional equilibrium, people unconsciously detect vulnerability. Because emotional reactions reveal your pressure points. Every time you react strongly to something, you're broadcasting. Right here. This is where you can get to me. Think about online arguments. Someone posts a criticism of you, or something you believe in, and within minutes, you're typing a long defensive response. What does that response signal to everyone reading it? It signals, this person is affected. This person cares deeply about what strangers think. This person's emotional state is easily influenced. Now compare that to someone who receives the same criticism and simply doesn't respond. Or responds calmly, briefly, without defensiveness. Which person looks more powerful? You already know the answer. Here's a quick self-assessment. I want you to be honest with yourself. On a scale of 1 to 10. How easily does criticism destabilize your mood? If someone disrespects you in public, how long does it take you to recover emotionally? 1 hour? 1 day? 1 week? The longer your emotional recovery time, the more psychological control you're giving away. Write that number in your mind. We'll come back to it. Here's where it gets interesting. Calm people create psychological uncertainty in others. When you don't react the way people expect, their brains try to figure you out. What are they thinking? Why aren't they reacting? Are they unaffected by this? That uncertainty increases perceived authority. Because uncertainty makes people pay more attention to you. They can't predict you. They can't control you. And in social dynamics, unpredictability often reads as strength. Not chaotic unpredictability that reads as instability, but controlled unpredictability, the calm that comes from deliberate emotional regulation, that reads as power. Let me show you the difference between two people in the same situation. Person A receives bad news at work, a project failure, a critical email from a superior. They are immediately raise their voice, blame others, get defensive, look visibly panicked, try to regain control through aggressive language. Person B receives the same news. Pause, breathe, nod slowly, say, I understand. Let me think about this and get back to you. Which person looks more powerful? Person B, absolutely. But here's what's fascinating. Person B hasn't done anything yet. They haven't solved the problem. They haven't proven their competence. They just didn't react. And that alone shifted the balance of power. Most people are emotionally predictable. You've noticed this about people you know, right? This person gets angry when challenged, this person gets defensive when criticized, this person panics under pressure, this person gets needy when rejected. These patterns become predictable scripts. And predictable emotional patterns make it easy for others to anticipate your behavior, trigger your reactions, intentionally control your emotional state by saying the right or wrong things. When people know exactly what will upset you, they can use that knowledge. Emotional control removes that weapon from others' hands. Think about someone in your life who knows exactly how to push your buttons. A parent, a partner, a boss, a friend. They know what to say. They know when you'll react. They know which topics make you emotional. Now ask yourself, have I given them that information? Because every time you reacted, you taught them something. Emotional control starts with stopping that teaching process. People trust stability, not drama, not intensity, not emotional volatility. Stability. Someone who remains emotionally grounded during tension feels psychologically stronger to others. Not because they suppress emotion completely, that's not the goal, but because they regulate it consciously. Emotionally reactive people reveal everything immediately. Their face shows anger. Their voice shows frustration. Their body shows tension. Within seconds, everyone knows exactly how they feel. Calm people reveal less. They pause. They consider. They respond deliberately or not at all. And psychologically, what remains controlled often appears more powerful. This is why silence, pauses, and restraint can feel intimidating in social situations. When you speak slowly, you project. I am not rushed, I am not nervous, I am in control. When you stay silent in response to provocation, you project. Your words do not move me, I do not need to defend myself, I am secure enough not to react. Next time someone tries to provoke you in conversation, try this. When they say something designed to get a reaction, pause for 3 seconds. Look at them calmly. Then say, interesting, and say nothing else. That single word, delivered with a calm pause, is more powerful than a paragraph of defensive explanation. Because it tells them, I see what you're doing, and it doesn't work on me. Emotionally disciplined people understand something that reactive people never learn. Not every comment deserves a reaction. Not every insult deserves attention. Not every provocation deserves emotional energy. Because emotional energy is psychological currency. And careless reactions spend it quickly, often on things that don't matter. Every time you get angry at a stranger online, you spent emotional currency. Every time you get defensive with someone who doesn't matter, you spent emotional currency. Every time you let minor frustrations ruin your mood, you spent emotional currency. And at the end of the day, you have less energy for what actually matters. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. Many people are emotionally controlled by whoever gets the strongest reaction out of them. Think about that. If someone can make you angry, they control you, temporarily. If someone can make you defensive, they control you. If someone can make you chase their approval, they control you. The person who reacts the most in any relationship often has the least power. Not because they're weaker in any objective sense, but because their emotional state is externally dependent. The moment you stop reacting automatically, you begin regaining psychological control. Not over others first, that comes later. Over yourself. And that changes everything. Because when you're in control of yourself, you stop sending angry messages, you regret making decisions from fear or panic, giving people ammunition to use against you, wasting energy on emotional battles that don't matter. Here's the challenge I want to leave you with. For the next 24 hours, treat your emotional reactions like they're valuable, because they are. Before you react to anything, ask yourself, does this deserve my emotional energy? If the answer is no, and it almost always is, then pause. Breathe. Choose your response deliberately. Try this for one day and watch how your interactions change. Emotional control is not emotional numbness. Many people confuse the two. Numbness is feeling nothing. Control is feeling everything and choosing what to express. Here's the 5-step practical system. 1. Pause before reacting. The gap between stimulus and response is where your power lives. Lengthen that gap deliberately. 2. Slow your responses down. Fast reactions are usually automatic reactions. Slowness creates deliberation. 3. Observe your emotional triggers. Identify them. Name them. Understand why they affect you. Awareness weakens their power. 4. Separate emotion from action. Feeling angry is fine. Acting on anger without consideration is not. You can feel anything and still choose your behavior. 5. Practice containment before expression. When you feel a strong emotion, contain it temporarily. Give yourself time to decide if expressing it serves you. And once you understand how much power exists inside emotional restraint, you'll start noticing something strange everywhere you look. Most social dominance is emotional influence disguised as confidence. The charismatic boss who stays silent while others argue. The confident person who doesn't defend themselves when attacked. The powerful figure who remains calm while chaos surrounds them. These people aren't emotionless. They've just learned what you're learning right now. This is part of a deeper framework I'm building around psychological power and social dynamics. If you want to understand how to read people's emotional patterns, how to maintain emotional control in high-stakes situations, how to project authority without aggression, then watch the next video in this series. I'll show you exactly how emotionally predictable people reveal their weaknesses in the first 5 minutes of conversation. The people who appear most powerful socially are often the people least controlled by emotion, not because they don't feel, but because they've learned what you're learning now. That your emotional state is yours to protect. And the person who protects it best wins.